I'm up to, I think, 4 sessions of Kundalini meditations now. Um, I've been kind of slacking when it comes to actually recording. But yeah, so session two. Session 2 and 3 went kind of like pretty basic. Not much was happening, but they were very critical to understand session 4. And session 4 is when things started to really pick up and take off. Um, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So session 2, up so session 1. There was one thing I forgot to mention in session 1 because I didn't think it was relevant. But after all that's happened so far, I realize now that it might have been a little bit important that I did it the way I did. So when I first started the meditation for my first session with Kundalini, what I didn't mention was that I had created like a triangular space around me, which is really easy. What that looks like is literally just imagining like a triangle forming around you and like you being in that space. So I did that. I don't know how much of a bearing that has. It feels fake, so I don't know how relevant it is with that first session. But later on, like the shapes kind of matter. So for session 2, I got back in there. I counted down back into my system, try to meditate, try to relax. I set up another triangle around me because I was like, this just kind of feels right. Um, and I kind of just meditated for a little bit, tried to see the situation, saw the 3 pillars of light again back in that space. And they looked like 4 corners of a triangle. So I was like, okay, cool. Kind of see what's happening. There was a lot more white cracks on the ground of wherever I was. And I didn't know what to do, but I remembered like the tune, the banging, the beats, the rhythm. That had some results. So let me try to do that again. So I did that. Nothing. I really tried for like a hot minute, and it didn't feel like I was getting anywhere. So finally, I was like, I don't know, maybe a square. I remember like in some of the research, people were talking about shapes, and they're like triangles and squares. And then there was this one shape I saw that was like a square with lines around it. So I was like, what can it hurt, really? So I was like, let me create like an energetic square around the triangle. Let's see if that does anything. And then I saw that square pop into that space I was at, in that like bottom level of whatever chakra that was, which I assume is the root chakra. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Um, so yeah, I saw the square around me, and then I saw the triangle, like pillar of light start to, or the points of light kind of start to spin. So I was like, okay, let me kind of spin the triangle around, see if like that'll do anything, see if that resonates with it. And I saw like the rest of the cracks that were around the pillars break, so that there was just one solid triangular column of light. And so I was like, okay, cool, that did something. Like we have kind of a breakthrough there. But then that was about it, because that was around the very end. I was meditating for maybe like 25-30 minutes, trying to work some stuff out. And so that was at the very end. So that was my session. Didn't really know where to go and how to proceed, because I thought the music thing and like the rhythm thing would really be the way, but it seemed like that was just the initiation. So I was like, we're gonna go back to the cards. So I did another reading for myself, and what I got was that I needed incense. Like I saw myself sitting in a meditative like state, and then I saw all this smoke around me, and so I tried to find out like what smoke do I need, and I got juniper. Like I needed juniper incense, and I also asked, what else do I need? Is there anything else I need to do? And what I got was that I had to jump into the triangle, like jump into that space that I had created. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me go grab some incense. I went to the metaphysical shop in town, the one that I like because the owner's really cool. Her and her husband are really dope. So I grabbed some juniper from them. And about a couple days after that, I tried to do session 3. Now, this was again before work. I don't have a lot of time between work and like family obligations. There's not a whole lot of time I can really dedicate to this, but I do love it. I do enjoy doing it. So I found some time when I could. It was before work. I was like, we're going to be under kind of a crunch, but let's see what happens. So I lit the juniper and had that smoke going to the point where I thought I was about to set off the fire alarm. And so that was kind of all around me. I was inhaling that. And juniper smells really good. It's one of my favorites now. So then I started meditating, got back down into that space, like put up my triangle because I was like, all right, let's try that, put up the square. And I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's jump in. Let's see what's down there. Let's see what's in this space. Let's go for it. So I went over to the edge, sat at like the edge of this triangle, and then I jumped in. And when I landed, it was still like a pure white space, but there was this like albino serpent inside of it. This huge giant ass snake, with like these red eyes and no mouth, which I thought was surprising because anytime I have ever seen a serpent, it's always had a mouth, like the fangs, the tongue, the teeth, the all that stuff. So seeing one without a mouth was really fascinating to me. But I was like, okay, I was trying to trail it to see like the size of this thing to kind of gauge what I'm dealing with. And I noticed that at some point it kind of just branched and dispersed into the room that I was in, like into the white space. And I was able to understand, like, oh no, so this is connected to this energy. Like this whole space is this thing. So I sat there and I was like, all right, let's see if we can kind of get this up and out. Like if this is the Kundalini energy, if this is that serpent energy or whatever, let's rise it. Let's see if we can break through. So I tried to get it to come out of like that triangular space, that gateway or opening that I had, and it couldn't get through. And so I was standing there and I was like, okay, what's wrong? Like why can't it get through the gate? And I heard a key is needed. And so I was looking around and I was like, a key is needed. What is the key? And then I remembered back in the when I had did the reading and like got the answer about the incense. I in the scene I saw myself sitting among like candles. So I was like, okay, maybe fire is the key. Maybe like I need the element of fire for some reason for this. Um, and so I felt like that intuitively was correct. And then I was like, it doesn't need to be in a specific shape. Does it matter if it's a triangle or square or anything? Does it not matter? And then I got that like, no, make it a square, like a square of candles around you, like light those, and then that should open up this gateway and like release that energy. So I was like, okay, cool. Had to get out of there, get ready for work, do all my stuff. But I knew what the path was. So I was like, I'm gonna go grab some candles. I got my incense already. We're gonna like take some time. We're gonna sit down and we're really gonna take off on this. But yeah, so that was session 2 and 3. Stay tuned for session 4. I'm gonna need a lot more time to actually talk about session 4 than I have right now. But session 4 is when it kicks into high gear, and I'm so excited to talk about it. But yeah, stay tuned for that.